Ever wonder why you're attracting the wrong type of leads? Your inbox is cluttered with unqualified tire kickers. I know it's super frustrating, especially if you're spending a lot of money on a marketing company only to get those type of results, because I bet you are actually pretty good at closing clients, but if you don't have the right type of qualified leads, you're simply not going to grow. This is a common complaint we hear from a lot of our clients and a lot of prospects we talk with, that their leads simply suck, that if they can get in the room with a prospect, they will generally close them. But getting people into that pipeline is a major struggle that a lot of firms struggle with. The good news is that we have figured out some things that can be done to actually improve this with no extra marketing spend. And you can really do this in a short period of time, within a couple of hours. So if you are tired of dealing with people who are the tire kickers looking for free services, then I'm going to show you how to fix this in a couple of hours and get you better results without spending an extra dollar on marketing. So let's get to it. You know that bad leads are unfortunate. You already know that bad leads suck. I don't have to tell you that. That's not anything new. And it's probably a huge source of frustration for your practice as you try to grow, especially adding marketing when you're paying thousands of dollars per month. And the marketing company says, hey, everything looks good on our side. We're sending you leads. But you know that if they are not qualified, if it's not the right type of practice or matter that you do, or they are only the tire kickers, they're the folks that don't really want to pay for legal services, then it really does you no good. Now, you know that and kind of know on a basic level the frustration with that. But let's talk about a couple of problems that are associated with bad leads and outline some of the ways that this has a negative impact on your business. The first part of this is that it's a big strain on your resources. If you get to the point where you are actually getting some results from ads or SEO, you're going to have this effect of, yes, you will get more qualified leads, but you're also getting a lot of other leads that don't really fit your criteria for a qualified lead. And this has an impact on your operations as a business. This abundance of unqualified leads really puts a strain on your resources, because now that you are getting, let's say, 20 leads a week instead of 10, you really have to have somebody on your team, whether that's you or a person on your staff, who's going to go in and talk with those people, qualify them, hear what their issue is, and then determine whether or not they are actually a good fit for you, right? And that can take up a lot of time, especially if you're doing it as the attorney and then trying to also do all the legal work and everything else associated with your job. It also is really challenging if you are using somebody in your own office, like an assistant, to spend all their time qualifying these folks, following up with them, et cetera. So long story short, this creates a big strain on your resources, because ideally you want your time, their time, focused on the people who you actually have a good shot at converting. You do not want to be spending your time in these long conversations with people who ultimately are really just kind of fishing for legal advice, or maybe they don't know that their issue is not actually a criminal issue, or it's not actually they don't really have a personal injury claim, something like that. But nonetheless, they believe that the criminal lawyer, the personal injury lawyer, is who they need to talk to in those situations. So it's a big challenge, right? Because every 20 minutes, 15 minutes that you are in those conversations, it's taking away from your ability to call the warmer leads and do more follow-up for those folks. It also impacts other responsibilities that person might have. So ultimately, it becomes this challenge where you're kind of swimming in these leads, right? And you are struggling to keep up with everything. Ultimately, that leads to not having enough attention and energy to go after those higher value leads and follow up with those people, hitting them 2 or 3 times. to try and reinvigorate that relationship and get them across the finish line. So we see this a lot. It also has a negative effect on customer service. So the more time you're spending on these useless tasks, really, you are spending less time talking with your clients. You are spending less time cultivating those higher quality leads. And ultimately, you kind of settle into this situation where everybody's about getting the same level of service. That's a big problem, right? Because your ability to really hone in on the most valuable use of your time then becomes super limited, and it becomes this equitable situation where like everybody's kind of getting the same amount of attention, the same level of customer service, and ultimately things drop through the cracks where your qualified leads can, you're missing out on them, plain and simple.